Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life, the first Harvest Moon game that I ever played, and a wonderful gateway drug into the roller coaster of a series that is Harvest Moon. After I played Harvest Moon: A Wonderful Life, I played almost every game in the series. Almost every game in the series except Harvest Moon Magical Melody. So, I'm going to tell you the story about how I got this game.
However, a couple months ago, I was chillaxing in my room like a baller, watching some old PBG episodes, and I saw something I could hardly believe. See if you can find it.
In Magical Melody, you have to save the Harvest Goddess. Big surprise.
Did you see it? I'll play it again with 5 obnoxious arrows pointing at what I want you to see.
In Magical Melody, you have to save the Harvest Goddess. Big surprise.
The 3 seconds equaling 10-minute time system on my favorite system ever! With one of my favorite series! Why haven't I played this game yet?
So I hopped on eBay, grabbed myself a copy of this game, and was about to tear into it. But then I realized, I'm a YouTuber now. It would be terribly selfish to go on this adventure alone. So I decided episode 3 in the 24 Hours of series was going to be this, Harvest Moon: A Magical Melody.
These are their stories.
So the story of Harvest Moon Magical Melody is as follows. There was an advertisement for the Super Awesome Flower Bud Village Indentured Servant Farming Plan. And your character decides to take them up on the offer and move there. And on the first night, he has a dream of the Harvest Goddess. She's all upset that she isn't being worshipped properly anymore and decides to stop existing. Or she gets stoned or whatever. And then this purple-haired guy says that she will bring the Harvest Goddess back, and he will do whatever it takes. The next day, I wake up and some dirty little lamps tell me that the dream that I just had wasn't a dream, but a for real, and it happened over a year ago. Jamie comes up and says, "Oh, don't worry about it, I have it all under control." Really, Jamie? 'Cause you had over a year and you're not even a single step closer. I'll take over from here. And from there, I'm allowed to take off. No unskippable, unbearable tutorial, just plain farming. So I slap down some squares with my hoe, find the local seed shop, and I water the crops. The next thing I do is find the lady I'll be romancing, and in this game I have 10 choices? You combine that with the Bachelors, that's like 21 choices! The most of any Harvest Moon game. I actually picked out who I wanted the day before from the game guide, and went with Anne because she's one dynamite gal. You see, it's funny because an invention of hers explodes in her face the first time you meet her. Anyway, I settle into a pretty steady daily plan of watering my crops and finding a gift for Anne. I wanted to get her ore because the game guide said that that's something she liked. However, Harvest Moon Magical Melody, you hardly had any energy to start out, and I use all of my energy every day, maximizing my crop profits, or crop-fits, if you will. Huh? 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 Profits? Profits? Eh? But once the crops grew, I was able to give her some of those, and she seemed happy enough. After making a fair amount of gold from the crops, I decided it was time to get some animals. And for that, I needed a barn. And for that, I needed land. And for that, I needed to destroy my crops. And let me be perfectly frank, that ain't happening. So I had an interesting conundrum on my hand, because I really wanted to build a barn right here, right next to my house. Come out, water the plants, and go and tend to the animals, but no. I could only buy the beach area and this sad plot of land. However, somebody in the chat told me that if I befriended Theodore, he could make more land available, but that would take time and eggs. both of which I am unwilling to donate to him. So I settled on buying Flower Bud, because it was actually right next to Anne's store, and I went there daily anyway, so whatever. So I got myself some land, got myself a barn, and got myself some animals. Bessie, because duh. Me not naming a cow Bessie is like me not putting music in the background of a video. I can do it, but it's really weird and unnatural. Second was Cadet Kelly, because when I asked for names, one of the people was asking about Keelam. Autocorrect kicked in and I accidentally mistook it as a suggestion. We also had Corin and Cat, who was named because she was leaving the stream at the same time I was naming the cow, so yeah, I figured whatever. As for the chickens, we had Hilter, which was me accidentally misspelling a suggestion. You can go ahead and guess as to what that word was. Kim Junko-un, which was a compromise of Kim Jong-un and Junko. A compromise that I'm sure made nobody happy. Corn, Spicy Carlos, and Zapdos. Because in Friends of Mineral Town, I had an Articuno and a Moltres, and so I had to tie up all the loose ends. So summer rolled around and I planted my crops, including a cluster of corn for a nefarious purpose other than cash. Alright, remember how I said I picked Anne as my bride-to-be from the day before? Well, I hit up the best site for all things Harvest Moon, Fogu.com, and I looked at some of the tips for romancing Anne, and the answer was corn. Anne's favorite thing in the whole wide world is pure, uncut, Cuban corn. I was gonna hoard so much corn that so that after summer ended, I could still give her corn. Heck, if she saw my refrigerator halfway through the season, she probably would have thought, "Forget the blue feather, this guy has a nearly endless supply of my favorite thing in the whole world. Let's run away and have two beautiful children, Nathaniel and Superfly." But no, I had to drip feed her one per day over the course of 2 seasons, and it really did work. At the end of spring, Anne and I had 2 hearts, and at the end of summer, I had 6. However, that may have been the dates. Alrighty, now for the reviewy part of this video. Harvest Moon Magical Melody is exactly what I wanted from a Harvest Moon game, and nothing more. Previous installments always have unique little surprises that I did not see coming that really spiced up the gameplay. This game did not, however. It seems very bare bones and lacking in some areas. But the one thing that home run batted it out of the park better than any game thus far was the dates. Not only are there a lot of dates, but they actually feel meaningful. I mean, just look at the characters during these dates. That's real emotion. She's happy to see me, and I'm happy to see her. There's this fireworks show, and something about the framing of this shot just melts my heart. Heck, look at the Full Moon Festival. Anne and I are here, and she says the most werewolfy thing I've ever heard. "It sounds strange, but don't you get hungry when you look at the full moon?" But she fought off the transformation long enough to give me a kiss. So I continued to give my she-werewolf corn, and realized I was getting pretty high up in the hearts, and realized marriage was right around the corner. However, this game has some prerequisites for marriage that you might not know on your own. For example, a level 3 house. That didn't surprise me, but I didn't know that the carpenter won't give you the job unless you're good friends with him. The good news is that one of my viewers named Courtney Crockett has a freaky knowledge of this game and told me in chat what I had to do. If you ever go out west in the 1800s, you want Davy Crockett as your guide. If you ever go into a 2005 Harvest Moon game, you want Courtney Crockett. So, after befriending Woody, and constructing a level 3 house, and snatching up a fancy big bed, and a rainy day, Theodore sent me on what can only be described as a fool's errand, climbing up a mountain while something chucked boulders down at me. But I persevered through it and reached the summit of Mount Moon, and found, you guessed it, a blue feather. Then I tracked down Anne, gave her her beloved corn, dropped down to one knee, and tricked her into marrying me on the 29th of summer. But let's be honest, the only reason I was playing this game was so that I could go to the Pumpkin Festival. This is Halloween! Everybody scream! Won't you please make way for a very special guy? Our friend Chet is king of the pumpkin patch! Everybody hail to the Harvest King now!
Short review, it's a little little sparse in some areas, and it's way easy to rack up a fortune, but Harvest Moon, A Magical Melody hits all the right notes with me. A very special thank you to everyone who tuned in for the 24-hour stream. If you want to be notified to the next 24-hour stream, either subscribe or tune back at the beginning of May. Thanks for watching. Oh, but no!